Meet Max, not your average cat. He's jacked, he cooks, teaches yoga, crime detective, and falls in love every 5 minutes. The problem, he forgets everything, every 5 minutes, including the girl, the job, and sometimes his own name. Now Max decided to become a detective. He put on shades, grabbed a notepad, and started solving a missing sandwich case. But 5 minutes in, he forgot he was the detective and became the suspect. He accused himself, arrested himself, and locked himself in a closet. 5 minutes later, he came out like nothing happened, flexing and yelling. Case closed. One day, Max became a teacher. He walked into the classroom wearing glasses he didn't need and said, "Class, today we learn the secrets of the universe." But 5 minutes later, he forgot he was the teacher and raised his paw asking, "Excuse me, when's lunch?" Then he gave everyone homework to draw muscles and graded it with stickers of his own face. 5 minutes later, he stood on the desk flexing and said, "Lesson over. You're welcome." Max adopted a parrot and named him Rocket. "I'll never forget you with a name like that," he said proudly. Rocket was smart, talkative, and way more responsible than Max. 5 minutes later, Max looked at the bird and asked, "Who are you and why are you in my house?" Rocket sighed and said,
"I'm Rocket. You adopted me again."
Max gasped, "Whoa, a talking bird? I must be dreaming." Rocket rolled his eyes.
"You say that every 5 minutes.
Meanwhile, Max flexed in the mirror and said, "Well, at least one of us has muscles." Rocket replied,
"At least one of us has a brain."
One day, Max looked at Rocket and said, "Let's rob a bank. We'll be rich in tuna." Rocket blinked and replied, "This is a terrible idea." Max put on a ski mask backwards, grabbed a banana instead of a weapon, and marched into the bank yelling, "Everyone stay calm, this is a friendly robbery." 5 minutes later, he forgot why he was there and asked the teller, "Hi, do you guys sell smoothies?" Rocket face-palmed with his wing and said, "Abort mission." The banana bandits lost it again. Max walked out happily, licking a lollipop, whispering, "That went well." Rocket just muttered, "We're banned from another bank, genius." One day, Max booked a trip to Dubai. "Luxury, adventure, and sand for flexing. Perfect," he said, dragging Rocket onto the plane. When they landed, Max stepped off like a celebrity, wearing sunglasses at night and shouting, "Dubai, your king has arrived." 5 minutes later, he forgot where they were and asked, "Why is everything made of gold? Did I wish for this?" He rode a camel backward, tried to swim in a fountain, and tipped a robot waiter with a button from his shirt. Rocket just kept saying,
"Please stop. We're going to get deported."
Max grinned, flexed in front of the Burj Khalifa, and whispered, "Best beach ever." Rocket sighed,
"That's a skyscraper."
One day, Max woke up, put on an eye patch, grabbed a mop as a sword, and yelled, "I'm a pirate now." Rocket sighed,
"Oh no, not this again."
Max built a ship out of lawn chairs in his backyard and named it the Tuna Queen. He shouted, "Raise the sail." Rocket, sitting on a broomstick mast, replied,
"We don't have sails, Max."
5 minutes later, Max forgot everything and pointed at Rocket, shouting, "A talking bird? This island is magical." Then he buried a sock in the garden, drew a map to it, and whispered, "X marks the snacks." Rocket shook his head.
"Captain Confused strikes again."
Max flexed, winked, and said, I may be lost, but I look fantastic." One day, Max got a job as a chef at a fancy hotel. He started cooking a delicious pizza. But 5 minutes later, he forgot what he was making. He threw in toothpaste, socks, and even a shoe into the recipe. When he served it to the customers, they freaked out and started yelling. Max was immediately fired, but don't worry. And 5 minutes later, Max completely forgot he ever had a job. Max sees a beautiful cat walking by. Max, "Wow, she's the one, I'm in love." 5 minutes later, Max, "Hey, who's that? She looks kinda cute." Love cat, "You just told me you loved me." Max blinking, "Wait, are we dating?" Every time Max falls in love, he forgets he fell in love. But that's okay, because to Max, every girl is his first love again and again. Max texting himself, "Remember her," with heart emojis, then forgetting the passcode to his phone. Max the legend, the lover, the lost memory machine. Max decided to become a fitness trainer. He created a workout plan, but 5 minutes later, he forgot what exercises he was supposed to do. He ended up doing cat yoga with his clients, teaching them to perfect their downward-facing cat pose. The clients loved it, and soon Max's gym was the hottest spot in town. Max was thrilled, but 5 minutes later, he forgot he was a famous trainer and went back to chasing laser pointers. One day, Max decided to get fit and declared, "I'm running 10 miles today." But after just 1 mile, he forgot why he was running and hid behind behind a trash can whispering, "Am I being chased?" Convinced he was on a spy mission, whispered to himself, "They must be after me, I've uncovered something big." He started sneaking around in circles, but 5 minutes later, he forgot why he was sneaking and ended up sitting on the curb asking a street vendor for a hot dog. He took a bite, shrugged, and said, "Well, I guess the world can wait, and this is the important stuff." One day, Max saw a poster that said, "Gorilla Challenge, winner gets a banana trophy." Without hesitation, he flexed and shouted, "I was born for this." 5 minutes into the challenge, he stood face to face with a massive real gorilla. But Max had already forgotten why he was there. He looked up and said, "Nice costume, bro," and tried to high-five the gorilla. The gorilla roared. Max panicked and ran in circles, yelling, "The banana is alive." 5 minutes later, he was back home holding a banana from his fridge and whispering, "I won." Max decided to take photos to help him remember things. "Genius idea," oh, he said, snapping selfies with his fridge, his yoga mat, even his left foot. 5 minutes later, he looked through the photos and gasped, "Who are all these people?" He got suspicious and shouted, "I'm being followed." Then he took a photo of himself yelling it to remember the moment. 5 minutes later, he was flexing with the camera and smiling, "Wow, this guy's photogenic. I hope we're friends." One day, guests showed up at Max's house for a dinner party. Max greeted them with a chef's hat saying, "I welcome." Gourmet experience await. 5 minutes later, he forgot they were guests and asked, "Who are you people, and why are you in my kitchen?" He served cereal in teacups, sat on the table instead of a chair, and gave a speech about his imaginary restaurant. 5 minutes later, he flexed in front of the mirror and said, "Those fans really love me." The guests quietly let themselves out. One day, Max declared, "Time to serve my country," and dressed in full camo helmet and all. He marched around his backyard yelling, "Mission serious face." But 5 minutes later, he forgot everything and thought he was on a camping trip. He roasted marshmallows over a candle, built a pillow fort, and radioed for backup using a TV remote. 5 minutes later, he saluted a garden gnome and whispered, "Mission complete, Commander Pebble." Then he flexed, proud as ever. Max was getting married. He stood at the altar, flexing in his tux, grinning at the crowd and whispering, "I was born to be a husband." Just as the music started, 4 different girlfriends stormed in, shouting, "Max!" Gasps filled the room. Max looked at them completely confused and said, "I've never seen these women in my life." The bride glared. The guests stared. Tension was sky high. 5 minutes later, Max turned to the bride and asked, "Oh, wait, who are you?" Then he grabbed a slice of cake, sat on the floor, and shouted, "Best birthday ever!" No one corrected him. Everyone just slowly backed away as Max flexed with frosting on his face. One day, Max took a job as a babysitter and confidently said, "Kids love me." 5 minutes in, he forgot he was in charge and started following the toddler around like he needed supervision. He asked the baby, "Are you my babysitter?" Then he put a diaper on his head, made a sandwich out of crayons, and declared snack time. 5 minutes later, the house was chaos, but Max was flexing in the mirror, proudly saying, "I nailed it. Those kids are lucky to have me. Tell me your views." One day, Max decided to become a hacker. He put on sunglasses, cracked his paws, and said, "Time to enter the cyber world." He opened his laptop, typed random letters, and whispered, "I'm in." 5 minutes later, he forgot what he was doing and thought the keyboard was a tiny piano. He started playing music, then yelled, "I just hacked into NASA," or maybe Netflix. Then he accidentally ordered 37 cans of tuna online and called it a data breach. 5 minutes later, he was flexing in front of the screen saying, "Another mission complete, the internet is safe." Someone stole the hotel manager's golden fish statue. Max put on his detective coat with sunglasses, of course, and started sniffing clues, literally. He questioned the janitor, interrogated the bellboy, and even tried to arrest a vacuum cleaner. Just when he found the real thief, ding! 5 minutes passed. Max forgot everything. Max was mid-arrest when he forgot what he was doing. He looked at the thief holding the golden fish statue and said, "Whoa, nice trophy, is it mine?" The thief nodded. "Yep." Max, "Cool." He high-fived the thief, posed for a pic with him, and walked away. An hour later, security was still confused. The statue was missing again, and Max, he was doing yoga in the lobby fountain, wearing crime scene tape like a headband. "I don't understand this, how the statue miss again. Explain."